that he would talk about and reflect the great, universal, and world-encompassing approach. I am the God that created heaven and earth. I'm the God that causes the earth to revolve. I'm the God that's in charge of all stars and planets and so on and so forth. The big approach, the large approach, the encompassing universal approach. Indeed, in this dialogue between Rabbi Yehuda, that's represented by Rabbi Yehuda Levi in the Kuzari, between the king of Kuzar and the scholar of Israel, this question indeed is asked. Your approach sounds a bit limited. Sounds like it's only related to you. It's not fair. It's not. Isn't he a God of all of man, of heaven and earth? And it's true. That's a true answer. This is a partial understanding of what God is. But it's so applicable to Moshe. Machon is the God of heaven and earth. But I want to ask you the question, what is the foundation of our belief in the God? Is it creation? Are we believers due to creation? Let me ask you something. Were you around when God created the world? He was? Man was created on which day? 6. The world was created on the first day. Did anyone witness creation? Where I come from, in the old country, there was an expression. They said, hey, Menachem, only seeing is believing. There's an intellectual approach to God. If you consider, wow, this world is amazing. Psh, heaven and earth, clouds, the inanimate, the animate, the vegetative, mankind, animals, and so on and so forth. That's right. There must be a God, a ruler, a manager, a producer, a creator. That's fantastic. But there's something that's more certain, and that's what our eyes, both physical and intellectual eyes, see. Why do you think the men of the Great Assembly in the Amidah, in the Shemot Esrei, opening up, right? We've come to the summit of our prayer, the highlight of our prayer, right after the reading of the Shema, and we open up with the first blessing. He's the God of the patriarchs. Where did the men of the Great Assembly, the men of the beginning of Temple period number 2, where did they get this idea from? Here. Hashem says, Anochi, I'm special. There's no one like me. But I'm the God of your father. The word Elokei Avicha, as well used, Elokei Avram, Elokei Tzavakeo, means, Rabbi Yehuda Levi explains in the Kuzari, a God that reveals, that prophesizes to man. The highest level of connection between man and God is prophecy. And that happened to your ancestors, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. In other words, I'm introducing myself. I'm a God that reveals myself. I'm connected to the world. Many of those that believe in creation believe the world is on automatic drive. There is no connection between God and this world. There was no connection after creation. Everything's on automatic drive. He is so great. He's so absolute. He's so wonderful. And we, mankind, are so limited, so physical, ending, material. Only He's perpetual. But that's not Hashem's plan. Hashem's plan is to be revealed. His supervision, His prophecy is through His great leaders, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. That is the proof. Moshe, who had to leave quickly, urgently from Mitzrayim at a young age because he was wanted, is now given major lessons about the godliness. And it's first and foremost connected to the Jewish people, to the patriarchs. I spoke to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, each one. And this is what Moshe is hearing after his preparation of the burning bush. So Moshe hears what is the foundation of faith, and that is revelation. God reveals and spoke to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and now he's continuing. Remember, a moment ago we explained that until the end of chapter 2, verse 23, God's name does not appear here at the beginning of the book of Shemot. And why? We're so assimilated. We're so disenchanted. We're so giving up in despair and faith of redemption. We have no connection. We're not even praying to God. So right now, a lot of things have to be rebuilt in the Jewish people. But first, there has to be a leader. Someone is going to carry this vision, this understanding. What is Moshe's reaction when he gets this ID card from God? A wonderful reaction. Vayaster Moshe panav. He disguises his face. He's right now glooming. He's right now illuminated probably with divine light. He never had such an experience. He feels so high, yet he feels so low. I'm nothing. Ki yareh, he has fear. Why does he have fear? He realizes how great Hashem is, and how he's immortal. He's a human being. He has to eat and drink and rest. Ki yareh me'abit el Elokim. So right now, after viewing the fire, viewing these different levels of godliness, now the cream is on top of the crop cake, and now he gets this prophecy, and he is full of fear, which is great, humility. And now, any questions until there? And now Hashem tells him his plan. Pasuk Zayin. Vayomer Adonai ra'o ra'iti et oni ami asher b'Mitzrayim vetza'akatam shamati mipenei nogesav ki yadati et mach'ovav. A double re'iyah. Ra'o ra'iti. Okay? Why is it important to talk about a double re'iyah? Gentlemen, there's a famous midrash. It's not brought here to your Rashi that you have Rashi, but the Maral talks about in one of his chapters in the book called the Gvurot Hashem, the might or the power of God. Ra'o ra'iti. Two things are going to happen here that I see, God says. Number one, obviously what?
Suffering.
What's going to happen here on this mountain?
The Torah accepted.
The Torah will be accepted. What else will happen here? Disappointingly? The sin of Chet Ego. Ra'or, I see into the future. Two opposite things happening. The reception of Torah and the serving of the golden calf. It doesn't make a difference. In spite of those things, I am going to what? Redeem you. It's not under condition that everyone be tzaddikim. I see the affliction, which could be the impoverishing of sin. I see that affliction. I see hear the crying out because of the taskmasters hitting them. And I know their pain. This is a novelty. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't go to Talmud Torah. He didn't study in yeshiva. He has not studied the foundations of faith. God is now giving him quite a quick course, isn't he? Pasuk Chet, what is the plan? Va'ered, I will go down. Metaphorically, I'll be involved in natural lives, mamash. Latzilo miad Mitzrayim, to save him, Israel, from the hand of Mitzrayim. Ula'aloto min haaretz hahi, el eretz tova urechava, el eretz zavat chalav udvash, el makom haknani, V'achiti, v'amori, v'aprizi, v'achivi, v'ayivusi, sum total of how many Canaanite nations? 6 and not?
7.
Why? Question. You have an answer? Let's go back to his plan and we'll get to several answers here, gentlemen. Hashem prophesies to Moshe a redemption. But notice that the rescuing of Israel from the hand of Mitzrayim is for what? Explicit purpose. Which stage is skipped over here? Not even mentioned? Torah at Sinai. The purpose of taking them out of Mitzrayim is to bring them to where? To come up to where? Eretz Yisrael. Wow. Of course Torah is going to be important. We can't live without it. But the basic objective of what we call in Hebrew, Yetziat Mitzrayim, the exodus from Egypt, is to make Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. So from one land to another land. What's so special about the Eretz Yisrael? It's called El Eretz Tovah. It's good. Goodness is Torah. The goodness of Torah can only be revealed in that land. Urechava. It's wide. Look, some say it's 80, 90 kilometers from the Mediterranean to the Jordan River. So what do you think it means that it's Rechava, gentlemen? What could it mean? The land maybe intellectually widens your intellect. There in the land of Israel, you're able to inculcate, to understand, and internalize concepts of divinity. The width. You're not narrowed. You're not studying Torah shallow. There's going to be depth and width. El Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash may be related to material life, as opposed to the affliction and the hardships physically in Mitzrayim. The land of Israel will provide you bodily life that's so special. Delicacies, sweetness of fruits. Okay? Zavat chalav udvash. Some of you studied the Talmudic passage that next to the Tiberia region, that the fruits would be so sweet. Where is it? I just forgot right before the city of Tiberia, right off of the Kinneret. What is it called? I just forgot the name. The Talmud talks about it. They would eat the sweets of the fruits, and their bodies would go berserk. Wow, it's so sweet, I can't take it. Would you please give me a piece of herring? You know what herring is? Salty fish. The Talmud talks about that. It would go berserk. Sweetness. But notice, Zavat Chalav Udvash. Shlomo mentioned this a few days ago. Rabbi Tzvi the Cook would say about the land of Israel that it's a land that knows how to turn darkness into light, how to turn impure into purity. Two examples are Chalav and Dvash. Chalav is really coming from the blood system of the cow, of the sheep, of the lamb. That means it was once blood, which is prohibited in eating, and now it's turned into milk. That is the power of the land of Israel. From there, all over the world has that ability. But for Jews, the Jewish people, the blood, the chalav of the land of Israel is taught that the bad is turned into the good, the impure is turned into the pure, and so to dvash. When was the last time you had a bee sandwich? Bee sandwich. Do you prefer eating the wings or the feet? Well, some of you know bees, you will never find a kosher certificate for eating them because they're called shratzim. They're tamei. They're impure. We're not allowed to eat it. And yet, what comes out of the bee? Devash. It's kosher. We can eat it. What is this saying? There are many people that say philosophically, what comes out of tamei? Only something which is tamei. Only the defiled can come out of the defiled. But the land of Israel can do the opposite. What can come out of the tamei, the impure? The tahor, the pure. I'm going to take you from a land of Mitzrayim, which is the straits, the tsar, a place which is narrow, to a place which is wide. By the way, do you know which animal the land of Israel is likened to? It's called Eretz HaTzvi. Have you heard about the tzvi? A deer? Did you hear why it's likened to the land of Tzvi? Did you, Eov? Shlomo? Remember what happens to the skins of a tzvi? The more you stretch it, the more it stretches. Yes, sir. Now, people say we're such a little country. No problem. The more Am Yisrael makes aliyah to the land of Israel, the land will stretch. You're going to find the hills, the mountains. There's so many places to settle another 20 million Jews. I mean, the Negev, the Galilee, Judea and Samaria, the hilltops, they're still right. right? The only way, even in Rishon LeZion, there's no more building spots left. And in Tel Aviv, the only way you can build is going up into the air. Everything, there's no vacancies, right? Everything is taken. It's Rechava and Zavat Chalavut Vash. And then we're told that God's plan to Moshe Rabbeinu is to bring them to the place of the Canaanite nations. But you notice 6 nations are mentioned, and some of you know that the Canaanite entity is considered how many base nations? Shiv'a Amei Canaan. So Rashi says in this pasuk in verse 8, under the wording Ulha Loto, that the Girgashi is not mentioned. Why not? Because it's such a small entity, Rashi says. But I think later on we'll learn that the Girgashi, they run away. They run away and do not remain by the time of Joshua's coming into the land. And they took Israel for seriousness. Any questions until here about how God reveals himself to Bnei Yisrael? Okay, we'll continue with our next shore right